Welcome to the 9th episode of ML Backstage. My name is Mars Luna.
And I'm Ethan.
And we're introducing this podcast straight from the 6th dimension. This is a music commentary podcast hosted by just Holokahiki Toves today.
As per usual, Joshua is always there. I heard that Kainalu is on a date today.
Woo! How exciting! Nalu, I'll hit you up later. Anyway, Dark Matter is finally out, and now Joshua doesn't need to leak any more spoilers, Ethan. Earthlings, grab your popcorn and let's get started. Back to planet Earth we go!
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the December 2021 episode of ML Backstage. This is episode 9, and we got a smaller crew here today. Got the man, the myth, the legend himself, and the birthday boy this month, Holokahiki Toves.
Oh man, what is up, guys? Hey, thanks for the shout out.
Yeah. Kainalu, he's got a date tonight, so send a shout out to the boy. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
He pulled out some random ABG off of TikTok. So nah. He's working right now. He's currently at the Ghost Bus right now. If you watched last month's episode, in the very beginning, he did mention that he got an interview for that specific job, and he got it. So congrats to our boy. So if you're in Hawaii and you are looking for a place to get your Halloween fix, go to the Ghost Bus in Waikiki. You know what I'm saying? It's probably scaring some tourists right now. But yeah, Holo, how's everything been since the last episode?
Well, it's been really well. I just got hit from a big storm, if you haven't heard.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
Earlier this week. But it's nice though. Today I actually drove around, did errands, and it looks pretty green out there right now.
Ooh.
So it was nice. But other than that, life is doing good. Peeping that Dark Matter track, put on rotation a bit,
hey.
In the whip and in the headphones.
Let's go.
What's good? My all-time favorite is Psychopath, hands down.
There we go. That's what I'm talking about. And this is not just this is not him gassing me up either, because he listens he listens all the way through. So appreciate it.
No worries.
We're gonna break that down in a bit. It's literally almost been like 3 weeks actually since Dark Matter dropped, and it's been interesting. It's been a really cool experience. I'll get to more Dark Matter stuff in a bit, but life for me has been good, and I'm gonna put emphasis on the word good because because life always could be better, but I know the last couple months were rough, so I'm grateful that life is good. You know what I'm saying? So just been able to decompress on some things, and my stint as an independent contractor at the church that I've been working for is up for the year. So I got to figure some stuff out for the next year, but we embracing the strange out here. We're embracing the unknown. So for the first time, I feel pretty confident, even though I have no clue what's next. And for me personally, at least. But yeah, everything's good. Just a lot of clarity, a lot of wisdom, a lot of discernment. You know what I'm saying? Just seeking all of those things. And I'm excited for this episode, and I'm excited for 2022. You know what I'm saying?
Let's go.
So
we're almost there.
We're almost there. But yeah, we're gonna start off, since we're still talking about this is the second Dark Matter episode. We're gonna go over the song breakdowns, songs 4 through 12. Since we covered the first 3 in the last episode, which is In My Head, which was produced by Morgan Wright. Heaven, which was produced by Morgan Wright, and 3 a.m., which is produced by Thomas Brooks. Shout out to those guys. Love Hotline, number 4. Love Hotline is...
I really gotta get my life together. I'm at the end of my rope.
I'm trying to figure out the right words to
It's been a
describe
trying time.
this skit,
Life's been
but the
hard,
main purpose of
frustrating,
Love Hotline is to
and this season
transition
seems to have
from
no end in sight.
3 a.m.,
I
which
know
is
for
like a
damn sure I
suicide
gotta go to
letter
therapy,
type track
'cause nothing
to
else seems to work.
Rocket
I don't know if I
Science,
can
which
even
is
afford it,
which
though.
is like a shoot your
Ah,
shot,
screw it. What's
you know
that
what I'm
place
saying,
called?
like
Mhm.
romance
Supernova
type track.
Therapy?
And I needed to figure out a way to bridge
I'm gonna give them a call and
those
see if they're
two
still around.
together. So I needed some levity in the album because it was just, you know, utterly depressing. So I I kind of played the, you know, the role of like the depressed, like sad boy, you know what I mean? And Mars Luna played like the insinuator type, you know what I'm saying? Like insinuator type of thing. And I've had people ask me like, who did the other voice for for the skit? And I told
Hold
them
up, hold
it was
up.
me.
Sorry, there must be a
I did that, and they
misunderstanding
were
here.
like, "Really?"
My name is
Yeah,
Josh.
and I
I
had to
meant to call
impersonate the
Supernova Therapy
impersonate
and
Mars Luna
schedule a
for them,
therapy
and they were
session, but I think I might have
astonished,
called the
and
wrong
they
number.
said that I should do
Are they
voice
still in
acting.
business?
Oh
Or
snap!
And you know, it was funny because I have a homie who's actually in voice acting right now. So I could if I wanted to, but you know, I gotta enjoy that. You know what I mean? Enjoy that to a certain extent in order for me to do that. But yeah, that's the purpose of Love
I feel like
Hotline.
I'm in
Love
the
Hotline
Twilight
was
Zone
just
right
kind of
now,
like
and
a
I'm not trying to
goofy way
entertain
to
this
transition
buffoonery.
from
But to answer your question real
something
quick,
utterly depressing to
there was this
something
girl
that's
I had a crush on
utterly,
for a long
you
time,
know,
but I
more
mean,
fun. You know what I mean?
I ain't trying to
And
waste her time and her
the
life while
funny,
I'm trying to
the
fix
original
mine, you
title
feel
for
me?
Love Hotline was called Therapy Session, and the original plans for that were I was supposed to have like a girl play like a therapist, and the therapist was supposed to be like a, you know, like a temptress type thing. You know what I'm saying? But we weren't able to find the girl since Tom Morgan and I were on time constraints for the album. So I was just kind of like, you know what? Screw it. I'm gonna just improvise this
Wow.
and like set up a
Now
different
that you
theme,
said
and
that,
it worked out.
I guess if I put everything you
Um,
just said.
Track number 5, Rocket Science. I'm actually gonna skip this portion because I'm gonna go in depth on this particular song. Um, We Get Down, track number 6. This was produced by Tom. This song was actually supposed to go in a really ratchet direction. And there's a line in the pre-chorus that says, I got a little groove in my step and I saw her moonwalking and it's lit. And the moonwalking line was actually supposed to be a line about Hennessy, which is weird now that I think about it. But Morgan, when I showed Morgan these songs the first time, he was like, bro, I think you might want to change this. so I was just kind of figuring out ways to change the Hennessy line, and he was right, because like it wouldn't put like the girl in a good position if she was the one drinking and I'm, you know, because I'm straight edge, so you know, it would make sense personally, but like from the song it just wasn't in good taste. So I came up with the moonwalking line randomly, and it ended up actually being cooler because it put her in a cooler light, you know what I'm saying? So that was some random tidbit from that particular song. And that song was supposed to be like the swaggy song on the record. And I love that one specifically. So top 5 for sure. Lipstick Blues, track number 7. This was produced by Morgan. This was an older song from the Genesis era, and I brought it back for this particular project because it fit the theme of it so well. And the song was based off of a hypothetical one-night stand, and you know, that's basically like the aftermath of what happened during We Get Down and transitioning into something completely horribly wrong, you know what I mean? And instead of playing the guitar on this song, played the piano on it, and it ended up being like a much better version of Lipstick Blues instead of guitar version that was in Genesis. So yeah. Track number 8, Over Again, which is another interlude. Over Again is just basically me trying to blame Mars Luna for something that I did. And he actually says a line where it says, where he says that I should actually be single. You know what I'm saying? And that's a funny statement because I've been, single my entire life, and that is not a plug, by the way. And yeah, like he was basically just saying, it was just basically me blaming Mars and his advice that he gave me on the previous interlude, and just kind of like, yeah, man, I gotta start over now. Like, everything was going so well, as I thought they were going well, but nah, it wasn't meant to last. So that was Over Again. Villain 2, track number 9. This was the only track that Morgan and Tom worked on together. This we covered it a little bit a couple episodes back when this song was released as a single, but this song, now that I listen to it again in the context of the album, this song got a lot of attitude to it, and I like that because I wanted to mirror the attitude that was in the Villain 1 from Lost in Space, but invert that. So I feel like we accomplished that, and it was a little bit of a struggle, for the three of us to kind of coexist with this song, but we made it work, you know what I'm saying? So Villain 2, Gone. This was covered extensively the last couple episodes. Track number 10. This is actually, now that I hear it, it's probably my least favorite song out of the whole album. Like, it's not a bad song. I love the song, but it's just like, you heard it, when you hear it a certain number of times, and like, you have it's not the most original song that's on the album, because it was directly inspired by other artists and stuff like that. And that's not the way I normally do things. So it's just like, so that's probably the main reason why. And also, like, when I sing this song, I'm just floating. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of the reason why Gone is probably my least favorite song. It's been covered the last couple episodes, but yeah, just putting that out there. It is a radio banger though, and it's it's still a song that I normally wouldn't make in any other context. In contrast to number 11, Psychopath. Instead of this song, how I said Gone was the easiest song for me to sing, Psychopath was the hardest for me to sing by far. And I love this song. This is my favorite song because it was challenging. It was challenging for me to sing. And like, funny story about Psychopath, the very first chorus of the song that says, I know I'm driving you crazy by hitting your line out of the blue. That chorus was meant for a girl to sing. A girl with a sultry voice to sing. And Morgan and I actually have a friend who I actually reached out to before COVID and told her about this song, and she was so down to do it. But like, obviously the Rona did his thing, you know what I mean, and we lost contact with her, and she was doing way bigger things. So shout out to Kaylee Foster. She's the daughter of a legendary jazz singer, and we would have had some real legendary pedigree on this album had it went through, but we made it work. You know what I'm saying? That's a common thing. We made it work. Yeah. Made it work. And that's my, like, from a songwriting standpoint, like, that is my favorite song that I've ever written so far as well. And Turn Back Time. This was the last song of the album, and this is interesting because, like, lyrically, this is a very simple song. I didn't really try when it came to writing it, because I felt like the song kind of explained itself. But there's a little sample at the end of me genuinely crying at the end, and people got to hear some vulnerable sides of me through that ending. And I wasn't comfortable sending that over to Tom when I was recording that. The crying thing was more so about was like I was recording something. I was like on GarageBand working on something related to dark matter, and I was just breaking down. Like I had like a panic attack, and it was just like, this sucks. Like and the thing was still recording. And Tom, when Tom and I were talking about this song, he was saying that this song kind of needed something, and like. And I was like, I immediately thought about the crying segment, and it wasn't planned or anything. I was just like, I recorded this thing, Tom, and I'm gonna send it over to see what you think about it, and he was like, yo, this is it, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is like, this album is gonna be so much better now because of this. And I'm like, cool.
Okay.
like cool. Like, I was crying real tears, bro, but okay. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I would say though Gone and Turn Back Time had a stench to attach to it. But other than that, like, those are the song breakdowns for Dark Matter. Aside from Rocket Science, which we are about to get into, because Holo, Nalu, and I actually recorded a music video for Rocket Science during the pandemic. Actually the pandemic is still going on, but like, during the latter half of 2020, Holo, Nalu, and I recorded and filmed a music video for Rocket Science, and it's probably our favorite, or my favorite at least, visual project that we've ever done. And mostly because of the circumstances, you know what I'm saying, and we were forced to be resourceful, you know what I'm saying, just navigating through like Hawaii lockdowns, and like how unpredictable like those things were, especially being on an island, you know what I'm saying. And we recorded it in Mililani, the central part of Oahu. We used pretty much like a really boring area and turned it into something that's like watchable. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, that's my little spiel on that. Oh, I forgot. And shout out to moms, because I know we needed a girl for the Rocket Science video, and
that's right.
And my mom, and I told my mom, like, I don't know how we're gonna make this work. And then my mom was like, I think I have a coworker that might actually be a good fit for what you're looking for. I'm like, really? And then like, tell me more. You know what I'm saying? And she gave me a description, and Hawaii is a really small community, because everybody's kind of low-key familiar with each other in some way, shape, or form. And I found out that like my mom's coworker, actually used to work with Holo too, several years back. And I was just like, what the heck? Like, the star is definitely aligning now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know how she looked like or whatever, but my mom gave me a description, and she was like, I was like, hopefully this works, because this is a perfect description, and it worked out. So shout out to Christine, you know what I'm saying? And I'm glad we were able to make that work during COVID and everything. And we did it safely too. So, it was within, state guidelines and all that kind of stuff. And it recently got over 1,100 views on YouTube.
Let's go.
So So I'm thrilled that it's doing really, really well on there. And so, Holo, I wanted to talk to you about what Rocket Science was about, because this song was actually stemmed from a real life situation that you were a part of.
Oh, sure.
And I don't know how much you want to describe about this, but basically from my end, this was about his situation. Rocket Science was about a situation that Holo was going through. So if you want to elaborate on what Rocket Science is about, feel free to tell the people, bro.
Give me the whole floor now.
There's no pressure. No pressure.
Yeah, it does seem like each song that comes out is reflective of our me, Kainalu, or yourself, our life experiences.
And Scott
But
too. And Scott too.
And Scott too, yeah, of course. Shout out to Scott.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, what was it? Was it in Japan?
Yeah, it was. I believe it was in Japan. Yeah, you were telling us
dude.
about your. You were telling us about your. You were telling me and Kainalu about your trip to Japan with your with Haratama Nui.
Yeah, with my my
Asian
Asian group. Yeah, so we get opportunities to go to Japan because we got a connection with my uncle with his Holo sisters, and they have a bunch of other connections as well. But the last time that I went was 2015. We went to Japan. We went towards Fukuoka side, past Osaka, past Tokyo, more down on the west side. But we were invited to drum and perform at one of their dance events, competitions. So we were the house drummers. So we had to drum for, I think, 4 or 5 hours.
Okay. Wow, that's long. That's real long.
It actually it felt long, but it came by real fast. We had like a couple of sets that we practiced and we got acquainted with. So we would stick to that drum set that we had. But yeah, we shipped all our equipment there. We got settled. And boy, man, when Holo got there,
Ooh.
so I legit remember I was on the stage. I was ready to go, right? We had a few sets in, and 2 hours came by, and I just so happened to look across from me, and it's the MC, the person who was hosting the event. She talks, she speaks English, and then she translated into Japanese.
Right.
But this is the chick, the vagina, that I was like, oh, she is on, or like,
Oh.
let me.
Word choice, bro. No. I just want to say, like, for the mainland listeners out there, wahine in Hawaiian means a woman. So, so keep going.
But yeah, and what I said earlier, I wanted to see what's going on, because she had a haku on, which is like a flower crown.
Yep.
But she was like, she was like, oh, she was like delicious. Like, let me check this out, right? So I'm like going ahead, I'm like looking, and it's like dim lights too, yeah. So I couldn't see, and then her haku was in the way. So the event spanned for 3 days. I saw her the first day, and I kind of want to check her out. I'm not gonna go up to her abruptly after I do my drum set. Oh, how you doing, right?
Yeah.
I'm checking her out. I see her walking by. She is actually taller than me. She's 6 foot. And I think
what the heck?
At that point,
there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that.
I think at that point is when I started liking people who are taller, 6 foot. I'm 5'7".
Oh,
so I think
I didn't know that. I didn't know that. Keep going.
Yeah, right then and there, I think that's when I started having a fascination with 6 foot people, 6 foot vagines.
Okay.
Also known as, girls.
Yep.
Then the third day came, and that's the last day, right? And it's like it's not as long, and it's a short day. So I remember we was in the backstage. I was talking with all my boys, talking story, getting ready to go back on stage for the award ceremony. And she's by the stairs, right? She's by herself on the stairs, and I'm looking at her, and then I'm checking it out. It's like I was like, okay, is this the time to go and talk to her? And then I look around, and then all my boys are talking right around me. Like I have one on my left side, right side, and yeah, I think I had like both right on my left side, and then there was one, I think it was my brother, who was right in front of me, and everything just went like super silent. Like I couldn't hear anything. I could only feel the coldness of the floor at the venue on my feet, like how cold it was. And I was like, oh, this is the time. This is the moment to shoot my shot.
Yo.
So all my boys are talking, and all they said was they saw me just walk straight, like just exit the conversation like nothing. Like I didn't say anything. I didn't
just slither your way out.
I was just walking like, oh, this is it. Like when I started walking, I was like, there's no turning back now.
Yeah.
I walked towards her. I went up the stairs. It was like 3 steps, and then she was over there. She was looking out to the stage, and I was like, this is it right here. So I turned around, and this is when we didn't have face coverings, right?
Right.
I could compliment on her nice smile because she had a nice smile when she was doing the hosting. So I go ahead.
What year was this again? That was like 2017 or 18, right?
December 2017. Yeah.
Okay. Just to give context, because you mentioned face coverings.
Right. That's right. 2017 in December. Yeah, I went, walked up the steps. I remember I was looking at her, and she was looking out to the stage. And then I go ahead and greet her. I was like, "Oh, how's it going?" And then she turned around, and then I think she was just surprised, right?
Right.
And I told her, I just want to come. Oh my God, I can't believe sharing this, man. It's so vivid, the memory. I remember saying, "Hey, I just wanted, to let you know, you have a very nice smile." And then she's like, "Oh, thank you." She's smiling with her teeth, and then you can see her smiling with her eyes. And I was like, "Oh,
yeah,
I got it right here."
Yeah.
So that next thing I asked her for a name. It was actually a Korean Japanese name. But yeah, I got to know her for like a short while. And funny thing was, later that night, I was at the hotel room, and it was like 10:30, and one of my boys were outside. They were gallivanting, like going to like bars, and I don't drink, and so me and my brother and my cousin were just chilling. And then those boys were our dancers who was at the bar. They said, they text me, "Yo, Holo, you gotta come to this bar now." I was like, "Bro, it's almost 11 o'clock already. I'm tired already." It was like, "Oh, the girl from the event is here." And I got up and I was like, what?
Oh,
like, you gotta get here now. And I texted them, I was like, "Nah, you guys are just playing around. You guys are playing. It's not real. You guys just joking around, boys will be boys, right?"
Yeah.
And then boom, they go ahead. They sent me a video, dude. It was her. She was sitting down with her model friends from the event.
Dang.
So I looked at my brother and I looked at my cousin. I was like, "Yo, we're gonna hit up this bar now." So we went to this bar, and it was a karaoke bar, right? There was her. There were 1, 2, 3, 4. There were five or six of her model friends. Yo, they were like tall too. They were like,
hey,
her height, maybe like 5'9", 5'6". I was like, yo. I walked in and boom, I immediately seen her. That to be story short, the karaoke bar became a dance bar. Like the people who worked there moved all the chairs for us to like dance, and I was like, yo, what's going on? It's like, yeah, they know you guys are from Hawaii, they know that you guys drum it.
Yeah.
Bro, it was over. Like, we was like, I don't want to say, but if you're from Hawaii and you go to Japan and they know
Right.
that you're from Hawaii,
Yup.
you are like instant celebrity.
Yep. Because Japanese people are the main tourists that come to Hawaii.
Right, and they love it.
Mhm.
And yeah, you know, I got her number that night. I talked to her from December. I met with her. I got her number. January, February, March, April. I talked to her for 4 months. And then one day in April, I don't know what it was. It was 1 week in April. I was trying to think about my feelings, and I was like, oh, dude, when am I gonna get out of this? Like, when am I gonna? What's the next steps, right? And this is when I was a younger boy. I had a younger mindset, you know.
Yep.
I wasn't too sure, like, long distance wise. She lives in Japan and I'm in Hawaii. That's like thousands of miles away. Time difference. So,
And way of communicating too.
Yeah. I use the Line app. Plus, you know, she's getting off work and it's like 2 a.m. here. So I was messing up my schedule. But I decided to you know, break it off. To give context, I did reach out to her to let her know, like, oh, you know, I don't really know how this is going. Like, it was nice talking to you, but I don't know where. I don't feel like this is something, you know, you want to pursue forward. I think it was just, you know, like, for fun and with just like excitement.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got to know her family. She got to know my family. We got to know each other.
Dang, boy.
I recently found out that she has a boyfriend now. I think they're engaged now, but she met her in Big Island. They're up in Seattle now. You know, she's living her best life.
The heck?
That's happy though. She's happy. She's
what the heck? Hey.
Yeah, he's there in person with him. If I done that step, then that's like locking it in already. But you know, at a young age, you want to like trying to find out about yourself. And at that moment, I wasn't ready for, you know, that commitment.
Right.
Yeah, 2017, you know, or early 2018. You know, I'm still trying to learn about myself, and it was a good move to you know, cut it off. But then again, that's one of the, you know, the losses that came to it. Like, yeah, she was a beautiful girl, very, very bright, very confident, and you know, it was good while it lasted.
Yeah,
I learned a lot. Yeah, and if it wasn't for that, then, you know, Rocket Science wouldn't be out.
Facts.
Yeah,
for sure. Like, it wasn't like you were trying to play her or anything like that.
Right. It was real genuine. You're like, if it happened, it happened. Yeah. It did happen. Yeah.
And, you know, like, I remember you telling me and Nalu about this after, because we were asking you about your Japan trip, and, you know, you told us the whole story, and, like, you know, everything that you just described, you know, relaying everything now several years later. But I remember, like, Rocket Science song started because I think I told you, like, you know, because you were trying to figure out, like, whether you should, you know, whether you should continue talking to this girl or not. And I think I said, like, bro, it ain't rocket science. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was pretty academic. You know what I'm saying? But again, like, this was from, like, a younger, like you said, a younger mindset. You know, not taking into consideration, like, you know, into like this other person's feelings or whatever, or you know what I'm saying? Like, it was just like something that you know, you tried, and you you both of you tried to make it work, you know, and like you said, it was fun while it lasted, and it's always a good story to kind of, you know, always a good story to share, you know what I mean? And like you said, like, and that once I got that line, like, it ain't rocket science, like, shoot your shot, and a light bulb went in my head.
Right there, yeah.
And I was like, that was it. And I think I showed you guys like the format of the song within like maybe the next week or something like that. It didn't take very long at all for me to write rocket science.
Dude, yeah, man. I remember.
Not long at all. And I figure like I got something special. I feel like I got something special with this because lyrically, like, for me, it was probably the most clever song that I've written. It was one of the most clever and the most fun songs that I've written. And my friends that I you know, that I talk to now, and people that I know, you know what I'm saying, like, that are kind of in my sphere, you know what I mean? They told me they love Rocket Science. Like, Rocket Science is one of their favorite songs. And when they say Rocket Science, and this is not like a diss or anything, but they usually refer to the original. Because, you know, like, because they know that there's two versions. But you know, and shout out to, you know, the Rocket Science remix and Tom's version of it, because it made the music video pop big time, you know. But the original version was like, the electric guitar stood out, and like, it was a lot more, it was livelier and fun. And it was, you know, it was the version that was meant for the album, you know, even though the remix kind of shaped the sound sonically for Dark Matter,
right.
You know what I'm saying? So there is both of those versions served their purpose, and you know, I'm glad people loved this song specifically, because this was like one of the more joyful songs on the album. And it's just like, you know, kind of like, I'm gonna read what you said on your website, if that's cool, because you described the song perfectly. It's basically a song about pursuing a relationship in its infatuation stages. You know, like, once you have a crush on someone, like, figuring out whether you want to make a move on them or not, you know, and just see what's up, you know what I mean? And like, we oftentimes, like, people overthink and we overanalyze when it comes to meeting someone that's very interesting. I do that, you know what I'm saying? And it's just like, and sometimes you got to figure out whether, you know, if you meet someone interesting, you want to know whether you want to pursue them or you want to just let the moment pass, you know what I'm saying? And when I told Holo, like, it ain't rocket science, you know, just shoot your shot, you know, that Rocket Science is for people who want to, you know, who are thinking or pondering about making a move on someone, but they're not sure about whether they want to do it or not. You know what I'm saying? So it was a play around the phrase, it's not rocket science, and just applying that statement to, you know, love and pursuing someone. So, and you wrote here on your...
Don't throw that around, though.
Huh?
We still use that in the group chat.
We still do. We still use it.
We still use that.
I mean, because that's where we are. That's where we are.
Oh,
but
man.
yeah,
No.
but you wrote here on your website that we are facing a direction we can no longer rely on Cupid's arrow or the mystics of the universe. We must have full trust in ourselves to make that special person ours. You know, like, that's facts. Like,
Ooh, that is facts, man.
that's and I'm gonna quote Holokahiki Toves, because that was your words.
Oh.
Yeah, that's your words. Like,
yeah,
I'm reading
yeah,
it.
it is. Yeah, yes.
And
Sorry.
and you know, like, that's true. Like, and for me, like, I haven't found that specific thing yet, you know, and that's okay. People operate on their own time.
Yep,
You know what I mean? And that was basically the whole rundown of Rocket Science, and it's track number 5 of the album, produced by Morgan. And
Shout out to Morgan.
Shout out to Morgan on that one. And I think, like, during the early stages of reworking on Dark Matter again, Tom said that we should add the remix on the album, and I was like, nah. And not because I didn't like it. It's just it wasn't a part of the plan. You know what I mean? And it was I didn't know where to fit the remix within the context of the record of the album, because I already had a story that was put in place from track number 1 of Dark Matter to the end. So it just didn't fit. And I felt like that, it served, like I said, they served their purpose. So yeah. I want to go over the Dark Matter photo shoots next. Normally, most of Mars Luna's photos and stuff were taken by Mr. Holokahiki Toves over here, or Nalu. You know what I'm saying? Like whenever I go home to Hawaii, we always try to, do something creative together, to make the most out of my time there. But this time, like, since Dark Matter was a very Vegas oriented, Vegas themed album, I wanted to do a photo shoot here. You know what I'm saying? And I hit up my boy Valor. Shout out to Valor.
Shout out to him, man.
Yeah, he killed it. He killed these shots. And he also shot the photos for the Gone single as well. And the funny story about Valor, Valor was a guy that I met like 5 years ago. 2016, I was going to a concert at the time with a girl that I was trying to get to know at the time, and we randomly met. Met Valor there, and he was wearing a spiffy like bow tie and like a button up shirt to this Christian rapper that we were trying to see. It was just hilarious. I still have the pictures on my like my Flickr account or something. And yeah, like I don't talk to the girl anymore, even though we're friends, but Valor and I actually kept in touch after that show. And we kind of saw each other at like local events and stuff like that. And we were always kind of like, okay, like there's some kind of connection there that's beyond like transactional type of thing, you know what I'm saying? And so I randomly hit him up. I didn't realize I had his number saved from like the day we met at the concert. And I DM'd him on Instagram asking him, hey bro, I got a single and an album coming out. Would you be down to take the pictures for it? And he was like, yeah bro, for sure. I'm completely down. And just like the process of the album, nothing revolving the album photo shoot went according to plan. And the original plan for Dark Matter was to shoot behind a backdrop, because like all the singles and stuff that we did for it are Rocket Science, The Villain 2, and Gone were all shot behind a backdrop. And I wanted to keep that thing going because that was like the theme that I was kind of going for. But, I was just kind of like, things happen. You know what I'm saying? Like, we gotta go with the flow. If, and sometimes like sometimes things, may not be going according to your plan, but they may end up being better than what you originally planned. You know what I'm saying? So we went to the arts district downtown, and we were just kind of taking pictures in this kind of isolated spot. And I saw like there was in one of the businesses, they had like a purple light like shining inside the room, and the room was closed, so we couldn't really go inside the room. But I told Valor to kind of take pictures outside of the light, because I just wanted to catch that purple. You know what I'm saying? Because purple is like the main color for the album and everything. And we took We took pictures. We took pictures around the area. We also used my landline phone from that I used from home to kind of like, to kind of like serve as like the love hotline thing from earlier. You know what I mean? So I wanted to kind of capture that theme a little bit, and hey, we made it work. You know what I'm saying? And we made the most out of our resources and the situation, and that's my type of vibe, no matter what. So yeah, like even with the outfit, like I Valor thought that I was gonna wear a whole spacesuit. But we just weren't. But the spacesuit, went to a Halloween store to kind of look for one, but it was just way too expensive. You know what I'm saying? Like, so instead of the whole spacesuit, I just got this helmet.
Oh, it's right in the back there.
Got this helmet. You know what I'm saying? And the helmet was the one prop that I wanted out of the spacesuit, because they also didn't have like a they didn't have like a whole black spacesuit. So I wore like a black button up, some black pants, and some David Bowie Vans, because David Bowie's the GOAT. You know what I'm saying? And like I colored my hair early purple just to get myself ready for the photo shoot. And I didn't want to wear just the helmet. And Valor, I think he wanted to take more shots of the helmet, but like I was like, I didn't color my hair purple for nothing. So I wanted to get some shots of my head, my head too. And like it's classic case of like, sometimes things don't go according to plan, but they may be better than your own plan. So
yeah.
So that's basically the breakdown of what happened during the photo shoot for Dark Matter. Okay, I want to talk about Cosmic Chronicles episodes 1 and 2, Lost in Space and Dark Matter. So for context, the Cosmic Chronicles is basically an album series for Mars Luna that I've kind of created, that's loosely based on my own life and my own thoughts and my own emotions, and kind of like encapsulate the whole entire human experience from an intergalactic standpoint. And Lost in Space episode 1, album 1 was released in 2019, and Dark Matter was released a couple weeks ago. I remember you, Holo, when we were promoting Lost in Space, I remember this Instagram video that you did. You were standing up on top of your chair. You were surfing with your like motocross shirt on. It was some of the funniest stuff I've seen, bro. It was hilarious, and it was a time where I didn't have to think of 2000. This was 2019, so it was a time where I didn't think about my mental health or my emotional health or whatever. It was just more carefree.
I remember it was just like a let loose season, like
very.
And it worked out. It was so strange.
It did. It worked out. And I just want to, before I give my comparisons between Lost in Space and Dark Matter, how do you feel now that Dark Matter is out? Tell me the differences and if there are any similarities between Lost in Space and Dark Matter.
From listening to Dark Matter, I've noticed quickly, like very immediately, that like this is like a mature album. Like like Joshua Luna, Mars Luna, he's not playing around, right? He's letting everybody know who is Mars Boy about, right?
Yep.
And him, like we talked about him using himself, his voice acting for Love Hotline. It shows like, multi-talented. And also Psychopath that he explained earlier being the most challenging track that he's done. It is actually an absolute banger. So from listening it for a couple times, it's still fresh in my mind. So I wanted to start off with Dark Matter. But from what I remember from Lost in Space, I felt like it was a combination of different aspects, different stories that compiled to highlight, you know, the vision of Lost in Space, while Dark Matter was a whole story in itself, telling one story, and it was from top to bottom. It was one fluid theme, and Lost in Space was just a collection of you know, different stories telling their own stories within.
Correct.
And I'm trying. These damn feelings were on the track. Is that correct? No, it's not.
These damn feelings was earlier.
It's earlier.
These damn feelings was earlier.
How can I live without you?
Yep. How can I live without you was one. How can I live without you was on Lost in Space as well. It was an old song that I brought back for Lost in Space. As well as Selfish too.
Selfish, yeah, Selfish too. That's right. 1 and 2, right?
No, there's two different versions of Selfish.
Oh, there's 2 different versions.
So there was a version of Selfish that was on the Prelude EP, and a new version of that was on Lost in Space. And How Can I Live Without You was from the Genesis EP, but there was a whole new version that Morgan made for Lost in Space.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
So for the context, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but
no, go ahead.
For context, from 2016 to 17, I released Genesis and Prelude, and whenever I make albums and stuff, I always try to bring an old song back if it fits like the narrative or story that I'm trying to tell. So yeah, Selfish and How Can I Live Without You were the 2 songs from those 2 albums those 2 EPs that made it onto Lost in Space. But continue.
But yeah, I just wanted to you know, I think that's the main difference is that Dark Matter, it tells one whole story from one whole book, while Lost in Space has multiple stories, which has its own books, telling its own stories. Because from what I've known and working on, you know, the photos and the music video, each music video had its own theme.
Correct.
Their own storyline. But the similarities, trying to figure out between the 2, I think it's just the songs, I gotta say. It still remains the same, but it's a lot different with Dark Matter. Yeah, I feel like it's more, Lost in Space is more like on the acoustic side, kind of a little bit of pop, but now Dark Matter, it had transitioned to more R&B and pop, but it still maintained, like, you know, the flavor of Lost in Space. Dark Matter is like you are putting like all the spices in. You got the foundation already. Now you just mixing it up. But yeah, if that's even called similarities, I think so.
No, that's a similarity for sure. I think you nailed it right on the head on everything that you just said, because, you know, like Lost in Space has more general themes, right? And Dark Matter is one entire theme. They are meant to connect together. Lost in Space and Dark Matter, they are meant to connect to each other. But it's like, I don't view music from the perspective of a musician. I view music from the sense of like, you know, like how when you watch a movie, you're paying attention to the plot and you're paying attention to the storyline, right? or like say a TV series or a Netflix series where, you know, you watch different episodes, and with every episode, the plot continues to develop, right? So I feel like that was my aim with from Lost in Space to Dark Matter. Whereas like Lost in Space to me was like, just kind of looking back at it now, from an objective standpoint, it was Lost in Space was a self-discovery album from a music standpoint as well as a personal standpoint, where I'm just trying to figure things out, figuring out life and trying to understand certain things, you know what I mean? And because when I wrote the songs from Lost in Space, it was right after the Prelude EP dropped, and that was like around 2017, end of 2017 to beginning of 2018. So that was when I first started going to Morgan to record Lost in Space, and that was when I slowly started transitioning from, like you said, a fully acoustic sound to something more like pop and indie rock with Lost in Space. Hence, like songs like The Villain or Selfish, even the Lost in Space version of Selfish, and even the new version of How Can I Live Without You, had some pop and some indie rock elements. But with Dark Matter, it's like, like the character, it's like, when you go to a movie and a TV show where the characters are developed and the plot lines are a little more developed, and and that's also reflected in the songs and the production itself. You know what I'm saying? Like sonically, like, adding another person during the production of Dark Matter, of course it's gonna sound better. You know what I'm saying? Like Morgan and I needed the extra person to help us out with it, and Tom was the ideal person to help us out with it because of his background with because of his background going to music school and his background in like Foley and in movies. Like that was his original background, and that helped out with the skits a lot. You know what I'm saying? I feel like with Dark Matter, the songs are better. The songs were, like you said, more mature, and it's a more, I would say, grown album, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's not as youthful. It's also a lot more weary because of that. And I think from a different perspective, as far as like the process goes with Lost in Space and Dark Matter, as we mentioned earlier, like Lost in Space was definitely a lot more of a freer, carefree process, in the sense of like, we don't know what the heck we're going to sound, what the heck is going to sound like. Morgan and I felt the same way. It was just like, but it was like, whoa, I didn't know that this song could sound like this. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It was just like, oh, this is so cool. Or like, just getting to that space of innocence, just kind of like experimenting and having fun. But still at the same point with Lost in Space, I felt like I held back a little bit, because like I knew that the next thing I did had to be better, as well as like, I don't know, like the stuff that I pulled off in Dark Matter with like the skits or whatever, like I wanted to pull that off in Lost in Space, but I didn't know how exactly I was going to pull that off yet at that point. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And but like the whole process leading up to Lost in Space, there wasn't really any hiccups with Lost in Space, other than the fact that Morgan got promoted at his job and his schedule got whacked out for a little bit because he became a supervisor at Starbucks for a couple months. But then, like, once Morgan had to ask for like not a demotion, but to get back to his old position, we were able to get back on track, and like I remember like all the shows that we've accumulated after Lost in Space dropped. That was a rewarding thing for me. And I think with Dark Matter, oh, and also like and also coloring my hair red to kind of celebrate it.
Right, that's right.
That was like something I wanted to do since I was a kid. And it was just like such a foreign thing for like, seeing my family react to my red hair and everything. I was like, I felt like, but they took time for them to warm up to it, but it was just like, I feel like me though. I feel like me though. Y'all don't like it, but I feel more like me now. So
Right,
it was, but that was a very fun season of music and performances and just going through the process of creating. I think with Dark Matter, like I've gone through the gamut of saying my frustrations with this album, but I think but I think like that I've had several weeks to kind of process everything. Like I've gotten more like, I guess more, not validation, but just, more peace with, okay, like this process was absolute trash with like, with COVID and with like, communication and stuff like that. And just figuring out Tom and figuring out how Tom is going to coexist with Morgan and all this other stuff. And, just having to go through the creative process of all that and dealing with expectations and not knowing what my expectations were for it. It was necessary. It was necessary for us to go through it, and I'm grateful that we went through those the trials and tribulations and navigating through COVID. And I'm proud of us for what we accomplished. I just didn't want it to come at the expense of like relationships and stuff like that. And we dodged some bullets, and fortunately it worked out. So shout out to Tom for making Dark Matter the way it is. What I'm saying? I'm Morgan and I are grateful that Dark Matter sounds the way it does. And shout out to Morgan for being an even keeled presence. And Morgan and I actually became tighter after Dark Matter. So it was all the valleys that I went throughout this process. It was worth it. It was worth going through it. And I told both of them that. So it's not really talking smack if you tell the people directly that what you're saying.
Yeah, shout out to the team, man.
Yes, sir. Yep. And I think even with Dark Matter, like it's easy. I was, one of the things I wasn't sure of was how Morgan's and Tom's styles were gonna coexist and gel together, right? But because both of them have styles that I wanted Mars Luna to have, and fortunately enough, like I think The Villain 2 was the best example of that, because that was the song both of them worked on together. And we had to compromise a lot, because we had to find ways to meet in the middle, but we did that. And I'm just grateful that like people have different favorites. What I'm saying? Like people tell me they have different favorites, like ranging from like some people told me that they liked In My Head, they liked Rocket Science, they liked Psychopath, they liked Lipstick Blues, they liked and Tom's camp really loved Gone. You know what I'm saying? Like it's cool to know that there's different flavors for everybody, but but it's all like I said, it's all connected together. So yeah, like what it's going to be like moving forward, I don't know yet. We'll probably discuss that in another episode. But yeah, like I'm gonna just embrace this right now. Like I'm humbled by the responses that Dark Matters had, and and the one thing I wanted to do after Dark Matter was to have shows, and I meant to mention this earlier, but Mars Luna got a show coming up on the 17th, and by the time this episode airs, the show would already be done. But yeah, like if you're in Vegas on the 17th, first Mars Luna show in 2 years and first Dark Matter show, so it's gonna be a moment. You know what I'm saying?
Let's go, man.
It's gonna be a moment, and this is something that Mars and I have been waiting for forever.
Coming out of hibernation.
Yes, sir. And just kind of like figuring stuff out, and like it's coming out on the day of the Spider-Man premiere too, but like there's no guarantee that people are gonna get tickets for Spider-Man, so you know what I'm saying. But yeah, like I think I enjoyed the process of Lost in Space more, but as far as the music side of things, Dark Matter is undeniably better, and it should be better, because every creative endeavor that you work on, or anything that you do, should be better than the last thing that you did. So that's my piece on it without talking for another 8 years. So I got two closing questions for this episode, and normally I would go super deep on it, but since this is the end of the year, I'm gonna go pretty simple with this one. So what is the biggest life lesson that you learned in 2021, and what are your biggest wins and losses that you took from this year? Well, I'm gonna have you start, because I actually gotta think about mine.
Oh, biggest life lesson, I gotta say, for the year 2021 is learning the art of letting go, like making room for what is new and what is trying to emerge, and not like continue what you are doing to block what's trying to come out.
Oh, that's a good one.
Oh man, when you send this to the group chat on Sunday, and today is what, Wednesday?
Today, yeah, Wednesday.
So I got I looked through the layout, and I look for the deep question at the end, and I was like, dude, I know you said it wasn't deep, but it's still deep, bro.
Yeah. It's the most reflective time of the year.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You're right. So yeah, it's the art of letting go. Like I'm still trying to process, like, what I'm the person I want to be next year. But for me to become who I want to be, I need to release who I were, and that's letting go of what I've been doing, so other things can emerge. And I do feel like the things that I'm doing, like for example, fitness and my photography, while I'm doing fitness, on a not a daily basis, but on a set routine during the week, I do feel like that something else is trying to emerge, such as like my creativity. Like while I'm working out, I do get it's so weird, I get all these ideas of photography wise and video wise, and I want to pursue that, but then again, I have to take care of my my fitness. So it's like a balancing act that I'm trying to learn. And I'm still trying to wrap my head around of letting go pieces of yourself that you've done for like 2 years or since the pandemic leading up into 2022.
Yeah.
I think it's the right time to, let go of these other things. So these new patches of seeds can
Yeah.
emerge out and bloom, because sooner or later these seeds, they're gonna start, they're gonna start knocking on your door, and you have to let them in already before you know
Right.
it. If you keep holding it off, then something drastic is gonna happen
Correct.
later down the year.
Facts.
So I'm still trying to get in tune with that, and I think that's like my biggest life lesson that I learned this year is the art of letting go. But going on to your second question, what are your biggest wins, losses that you took from this year? One of the losses is, not shooting my shot, on the daily, you know what I'm saying?
That's
like,
real. That's real.
But it comes in seasons. But biggest win is, actually letting go of my running, my running schedule. Because boy, I was super skinny. I think I was more skin and bones then and then I'm now. So I had to let that go. And plus I was aching when I had to go work. When I
that's not good.
Same running day, right? My legs was hurting.
Yeah.
But like that's one of my biggest wins, but also my biggest losses. But I don't have like too much losses that I can remember at this moment, but I feel like my biggest wins were, were maintaining, a healthy diet and my fitness in order.
Right.
Because I'm still letting in, the meat and eating, eating with my family, because they're all meat eaters, but I'm also trying to sustain my healthy eating habits and my fitness. But then going back to letting go, I think it's time, if I want to pursue a different avenue, which is like photography or streaming, that's another biggest win is streaming, that I need to let some stuff go, because your schedule and your energy is all precious.
Right.
More so your energy, and you don't want to put your energy at all these your facets of life. You want to put it in like very like small containers, because your energy is precious for you, precious to you.
Yeah.
But biggest win is sustaining my fitness and my healthy eating habits. Biggest losses, I gotta say, not shooting my shot when it does occur. But it's a life lesson.
And there's more opportunities. There's more opportunities. More opportunities for that. And like, there's no rush.
No, there's no rush. But I gotta say, one biggest loss were, I feel like this year, even 2020, I was less communicating with my boys. I think it was more trying to get in tune to what I wanted to pursue, but then again I will kind of push the boys away. But at the same time, I think it was helpful in a sense, because sometimes you need your time for yourself,
right? For sure.
Calibrate, get everything into set in your mind. And I just feel like I wasn't, too interactive with, Joshua, Luna, Kainalu, and then Scott. But
I don't feel that at all. I don't feel that at all. I don't feel that because I'm thousands of miles away from you guys.
That is right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I don't feel like you were like you you pushed us away at all, because it's, we still do this every month. And we like, because I'm also a person that needs my space. You know what I'm saying? Like, I understand where you're coming from, because like I'm introverted. I'm super duper introverted. So it's just like I like doing things by myself. Like, I like going to the movies by myself. I like going to the park by myself. I like doing things on my own. And like, I I just hit up the homies just whenever I can. You know what I'm saying? And usually, like, whenever I have something interesting to share, it's like, oh, you guys are the first outlet that I share that to. You know what I'm saying? So and we're also getting, I hate saying this, but we're getting older too, right? So it's just like, so like you said, like, our time and our energy is precious. And like, I don't want to give people the people around me like a less than ideal version of myself, even though sometimes it's like, it's just what you get sometimes. You know what I'm saying? But no, I don't feel that at all. I don't feel, just to encourage you, I don't feel like you pushed us away at all, because I understood, like, oh, this dude's probably just busy. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
it's like, yeah, it's just, it's just Kainalu who's flooding the group chat sometimes.
Bro, he's wild, man.
And sometimes, like, because of my physical distance, I was like, I feel like I gotta respond to the homie too. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, but nah,
Right.
like,
Yeah. You're correct. Yeah, that's right. On point.
so nah, like, I wouldn't beat myself up about that. I wouldn't consider that as a loss, because you did communicate with us a lot. It's more than most, like, adults our age have these days. So if anything, I would count that as a win.
That's right. I feel like less losses,
Yeah,
and more wins.
And that's good. That's a good thing. If you don't have a lot of losses, that's a good thing. That means this year was a good year for you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But that's solid, especially like the letting go, and like, everything it's a balancing act, especially as you get older. Like, it's all like, it's all ways to evolve and to grow and to become a better human being. You know what I'm saying? And not just being a better human being to the people around you, but being a better human towards yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, taking care of yourself, and like, making sure that your batteries are recharged, or whatever, or getting your life together. You know what I mean? And just figuring all that stuff out before, like, making moves, like shooting your shot, or uh or, you know what I'm saying, or developing new relationships. So
Right.
I think I learned a lot of lessons in 2021, but I think I would say the biggest lesson that I have, I'm going to try to word this the right way, but basically is I think the biggest lesson I learned, I have a 1A and 1B. I think 1A for me is, like, if you feel sad about making a big decision, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's the wrong one. And I've had to make a lot of big decisions this year, from a music side of things, as well as my life outside of music. You know what I'm saying? I had to make a lot of big decisions that kind of impacted a lot of people. And sometimes, like, at the end of the day, like, you have to make the best decision for yourself. And that's not a selfish thing. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, sometimes you can give a lot of your time, a lot of your energy, a lot of your, a lot of your shifts, you know what I'm saying, to people who may or may not value those things. You know what I'm saying? And you can't let that drain you. You can't let that exhaust you. You know what I'm saying? And And like I had to make a lot of like real grown-up decisions this year. Like I said, that in fact impacted a lot of people. Well, not a lot of people, but a few people. And it was just like one of those things where it's like, I told certain people, like, I'm not trying to leave y'all hanging. Right. But like also, if you did what you could in that specific situation, like, you don't bend over backwards for people who won't do the same for you. You know what I'm saying? And that's just life. And that's how like adult relationships are, whether it's a working relationship or whether it's a personal one. Be mindful of who or what you're loyal to, because sometimes you could be loyal to a vision, or like be loyal to another person's vision for what, you know, their organization or what their moral code, right? But if those things don't align with your own moral code or your own or your character or your, you know what I'm saying, or your values, then that's not worth being loyal to. You know, just an example, like, I think one of the things, and I think this is going into like my wins and losses of the year. I'm going to start off with the losses, because I felt like the biggest thing that I lost was momentum and time. You were talking about like making room for things that are starting to grow, right? That are making room for seeds that are being planted, right? And because COVID took away like a lot of the sense of time for me, and like especially when it comes to working with dark matter, like I felt like I outgrew the album midway through the process, because it was already supposed to have been out like in February. You know what I'm saying? But again, like, time is a funny concept, and timing is you know, you can always look back in hindsight, but you know, it already happened. But like, the fact of the matter is dark matter's out, right? And I'm grateful that it came out when it did. But I did lose a lot of my time, because I felt like I was wrestling a lot with like, okay, is this process a part of who I am now? Or am I trying to make up for the time that I lost in, like, you know, postponing the album or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And like trying to figure out like where I stood with the creation process, as well as like where Morgan's mindset was and where Tom's mindset was, and figuring out whether those things were going to align together. I felt like we had to make a lot of the we had to forge I had to forge a relationship just for the sake of finishing a product or project. And I've told both of them this, that like, I'm not going through like that kind of like misery again. You know what I'm saying? And if and whenever we do stuff again in the future, the approach is gonna look a lot different. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
and that's just you know, and that's just figuring out like what works best for each person involved, as well as yourself, you know. And just, I feel like for me and Morgan specifically, I feel like we outgrew dark matter midway through. And it was just like, well, we kind of went so far into the process, it's too late to turn back, you know. And I didn't want to, like, we all wanted to see it through. So it was just like, okay, we did it, we saw it through. I'm going to decompress. We're going to need our space for a little bit. And you know, just get this show going now. You know what I'm saying? And the fact that I'm getting shows because of this is rewarding, is rewarding for me. You know what I'm saying? It's like a result of our labor and our hard work and dedication and passion that we put towards dark matter. That was the rewarding thing for me, but I still lost a lot of time in that process. You know what I'm saying? And with momentum, it's like every time like I start developing something this year, I felt like something else happened to kind of like offset that momentum that I built, whether it's with music or whether it's in my personal life. You know what I'm saying? And it just like trying to navigate the balancing act. You know what I'm saying? And just figuring out how to capitalize on momentum was one thing that I was not able to do this year. But I feel like maybe the thing with momentum too is that like throughout the majority of the year, I equated momentum with attention. Whereas like attention's cool, but like there are both positives and negatives to attention. Not all attention is good. Like sometimes you can get attention for doing stupid things. You know what I'm saying? Or like you can get attention for doing something good too, but like attention's fleeting, and like this, I feel like, with the way, I would say like not all humans, but like people our age and a little younger, we do like people, people say like they do things for clout, right? Or they do things for attention. But what happens when that attention's gone though? That attention doesn't last very long. And that's why like I'd rather just learn how to be a timeless person and a timeless artist instead of just worrying about right now. Who cares if the day one reaction isn't what you wanted, as long as whatever you're working on is, develops more progression steadily over time. That's better than just going viral for like one day. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, I don't know. But the thing that I'm trying to get at with that was that the losses, those are the two losses that I had, but the losses brought a whole new perspective that I can carry on into the next year. So your losses are not really losses if you learn from them.
Right.
And I feel like the wins that I had a lot of wins. I feel like my wins are, I made a lot of new friends this year. And a lot of my friends that I met this year helped keep me in check. Like, they kind of gave me a new life, like outside of music. They kind of, whenever I met new people, I wanted to intentionally, I wanted to intentionally get to know people for who they are instead of what they do. And because what you do doesn't define who you are, mm-hmm. Right? And I wanted to build like relationships that aren't necessarily transactional. You know what I'm saying? And I felt like I established that. And I also established like, what kind of relationships I wanted to have moving forward and throughout the seasons of my life, and the relationships that, were that need to go away. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like establishing my relationships was one of my biggest wins this year. And also like going back to church helped. You know what I'm saying? And reunite, and not reuniting, but like, and reigniting like certain relationships that have been dormant for a while, like talking to Scott again. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like he was probably one of the biggest examples of that. And reestablishing like relationships that were kind of dormant because of COVID. And like I realized, like, especially through the dark matter process, like what relationships I wanted to keep and what relationships I needed to kind of put on the back burner, you know. And just being mindful of like, you know, people's niceness, you know what I'm saying? Because people can be nice because, you know, they want something from you, or they want to project something onto you, right? Like but if you don't necessarily respond to their projection or like what they want, how are they going to respond? You know what I'm saying? And just like figuring out those things out and just being more mindful about how I approach people moving forward. I think that's another win for me. It's all like a lot of my wins involve like people and relationships, and just, you know, being in, just getting to know people for who they really are and seeing through who people really are. As you get older, I feel like it becomes easier, you know, because your values are different. And especially with you know, music and entertainment and stuff, it's really easy to spot people who just want something from you, or like, you know what I'm saying? And it's just all a lot of transactional stuff. And, you know, I confess that I was like that too for a little bit, but like, that's just part of growing. That's just a part of learning your lessons. And now like I can see that through other people now. And I feel like those things were my biggest wins this year. So thank you, Holo, again for showing up. I know this month is a really busy month for everybody, and I really wanted to get an episode done before the year. And I think this is the end of season 1 of the ML Backstage podcast, because
Oh shoot! How many episodes was it?
9. This is episode 9. This is episode 9, starting from April. And you know, like I wanted to start this podcast because I was frustrated with the way things were going with dark matter, and I needed another creative outlet. And I just want to give shout out to the homies for hopping onto this. You know, we were all a rookie at this, you know, and this ended up being something that I personally enjoyed. This was something that was fulfilling for me, and I learned different sides of the homies. And I hope it's the same for you guys too. You know what I'm saying? And it also gives me personally an opportunity to catch up with my bros. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
And I also want to give a shout out to everybody who's listened so far. It's mostly been family and friends, but I'm thankful for the family and friends that have, you know, watched the podcast. And like, I just want to thank y'all. You know what I'm saying? And you know, I hear, like, whenever I talk to some of y'all in person and, you know, asking me about the podcast, like, it's very fulfilling for me to hear that some of y'all like it. And I'm grateful. You know, I didn't do this for views. I didn't do this for attention or likes and stuff. I just did it to help me get through dark matter and to hopefully provide some value. You know what I'm saying? Some philosophical value, hopefully. You know what I'm saying? But I just want to say thank you. You know, it's been a challenging year, but it's been a fulfilling year, and I couldn't be more grateful. You know what I mean? And Holo, you know, give us your social media, your websites, all the stuff that you plug in on the interwebs and stuff.
Oh, right.
Where can people find you?
So you can find me on my website. It's Holokahiki Toves, TOVES.co. It's my website. Haven't updated it for a while, but I'm there.
It's all good.
We'll do in maybe a month or so.
Hey, but for the new year, let's go.
For the new year, you know. Starting my Instagram, I showed the boys some of my content.
It's over with. It's over with for everybody. I've seen it personally. It's over with for everybody.
Oh no.
100%.
You can find me on Instagram at Holokahiki Toves. It's gonna, I'm actually genuinely excited because I've been holding on to these for a while, and I just wanted to, just let everybody know and put it out there and see what
Yes,
happens.
sir. Let's go.
But
Let's go,
one of the greatest things that I did was I started streaming on Twitch. You can find me at shout out to Chad Belmonte for the name.
Chaz Belmonte.
Chaz Belmonte for the name. It's called Holocaust. No hate, please. HOLOKA.
It's not based off the Holocaust now. Yeah. It's not based off of that. And as Holo says, he doesn't keep in touch with his brothers and sisters from that era.
That's right. I forgot I said that. Yeah. We're strictly original out here. Original.
Yeah.
Hammers.
Holocaust.
Let's go.
Yeah. So solid. Yeah. You can find me on social media at Luna B Joshua. You can also find Mars Luna's music page at It's Mars Luna, on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. My Luna B Joshua page is solely on Instagram. Just stream dark matter. That's really the only thing I care about, really, for the most part. You can stream Dark Matter by Mars Luna on Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, like all the streaming services. And you can find the Mars Luna website at itsmarsluna.com. I try to update that as much as I can, really. And this episode was low key fueled by I want to give this
shout out.
This is not a sponsored plug, but shout out to Alani Nu. This is an energy drink that's no sugar, vegan, gluten-free. You can find these at your local grocery store. You can find these at Target, Walmart, Whole Foods, Sprouts, I believe, GNC, the Vitamin Shop, all that. And this flavor is, speaking of Mars Luna, this is the Cosmic Stardust flavor.
Ooh.
which is basically a great flavor. But this is genuinely my favorite flavor. They have a whole lot of flavors, such as Cosmic Stardust. They got a Hawaiian Shave Ice flavor, which is all right. They got a watermelon wave flavor. They got Witch's Brew, which is basically like caramel apple. They got a breezeberry, which is like a blueberry flavor, I believe. And there's one more flavor. Tropsicle, which is like a popsicle type thing, and a mimosa. These are only like 10-15 calories. You know what I'm saying? So if you need like a healthier version of an energy drink, like this is what you need to get. This is the one. Alani Nu. Go check that out at your local grocery store. And I also want to say, low key, that I understand, on a more random note, I understand why some of these white women love going to Target.
Oh no, drop it. Let's see. Let us know.
Because I understand now. I went to Target 4 different times last week for a lot of different things that I didn't know I needed. You know what I'm saying? And also, like, that's why you just keep a grocery list of what you need to get. Because usually, like, when I go home, like, I figure it out, like, okay, I need to get this, I need to get that, I need to get this. But I didn't realize, like, okay, oh shoot, I ran out of shaving cream once. I ran out of shaving cream the day after I went. I was like, oh shoot, I gotta go back there now. You know what I'm saying? It's like different, it's like coincidental type stuff. But like Target really does have everything. And like I even got this sweater, this Lego sweater from Target, because if you don't know, like, Legos were my childhood. Like Lego, like everybody has a certain thing that they gravitate to as a kid, and Legos was my thing. And when Target sent me an email with a Target and Lego collection, I had to go look, because like I needed a Christmas sweater for a Sunday service, because my church was doing a Christmas sweater type thing, and I got a Lego sweater for like $20, and it was just like, not this one, but it was another one. I got this sweater and another gray sweater which has like the Lego figures on it in different colors for like less than $60.
Wow.
So it was
Steals.
it was a definite steal, and it was just like, limited time only. So if you love Legos and if you love Legos, go to Target and find your go look for the Lego collection, because it's very obvious when you spot it. Go check it out. Got a lot of cozy stuff for the winter, and you can grab like a little energy drink, a healthier version of your Monster or your Rockstar if you need it. So shout out to Target.
Target sponsor.
White women, I understand now. I understand now. I get it now. I get it. But yeah, thank you to everybody for listening. I would say this is the end of season 1 of the ML Backstage podcast. I still plan on keeping this going. Next month will probably be a very special episode. This will be the start of season 2. And it'll be a little different. But still entertaining and fun, hopefully, for everybody. So yeah, as always, like, stream dark matter, and as Mars says, embrace your odyssey and embrace the strange. Bye, guys. See you next month.
It's time to show out, Ethan. It's about time. Yes, sir.
Yeah, boys.
I hope you all enjoyed this episode of the ML Backstage podcast. Since we're all caught up with all my projects, this concludes season 1 of the podcast. If you liked what you heard, follow us on Spotify and Anchor, and subscribe to us on Apple and YouTube at ML Backstage. You can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at It's Mars Luna. You can find all my music on Spotify and Apple Music, and on my website at itsmarsluna.com. Dark Matter is out now, so go stream the album on Spotify and Apple Music. Thank you all for watching and listening. Be on the lookout for next month's episode, as it's the start of season 2. It's going to be a very special episode, so stay tuned for that. Bye!